So, well, I've been a little bit quiet over the last 2 months, and well, this is the reason why. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode in the newly extended workshop. Now, the opening scene was probably a bit dramatic, but I have been quiet for the last 2 months, so I wanted to get a video out just to give everyone a bit of an update on what I've been doing for the past 2 months and videos that we're going to be doing going forward. Now, if you'll have seen the 6060 extension video, I had to build that in the house. I physically didn't have enough space in the workshop to be able to do it, as well as manoeuvring around for the filming as well. So yeah, basically I ran out of space, so some modifications were needed to the workshop. Now you're possibly thinking, well, it kind of looks the same. Well, pretty much it does, but there are some big differences. There's a divider wall just behind me here, so we've taken that down and used the rest of the area. So that's given us about 5.5 foot going backwards. The CNC machines were originally on a workbench pretty much where I'm standing now, so it has gained us quite a bit of depth to be able to get everything in, and I don't have to keep moving every machine round depending on which one I'm filming. Now, it's not quite complete. There are still some bits I've got to sort out, like boxing in the wiring and things up there, but obviously with the extension of the workshop I had to put new lighting in, extra sockets for all the machines. So yeah, that's one of the main things I've been doing for the past 2 months, obviously chipping away at it at weekends. The other thing you'll probably notice, I've been doing some work on the machines themselves, or specifically the enclosures. So over here we've got the 6060 extension, which is the extension of the 4030 XL from SoundSmart. I've also built an enclosure for this. Obviously bigger machines, bigger spindle, they're going to spew dust everywhere, so I wanted to make sure that was contained, enclosed, and minimise any noise as well coming from it. We'll come back to this in a second. The old enclosure that the 4030 was originally sitting in, we now have the Fox Alien 4040 XE sitting in there. And I'll talk a bit more about this in a second, and some modifications we may be making to this enclosure. To the right hand side of me here, just out of shot, I've got the Sidewinder X1 from Artillery. This is a 3D printer. Now, if I'm honest, I probably won't be doing many videos on this going forward. I did the one and it wasn't that popular, so yeah, let's sack 3D printing off. I still want to keep it though, because I love using it and making useful things such as latches for the enclosures. And next to that is the good old 3018 Pro. Now, just because it's out of shot, don't think that I'm not going to be using that or doing any more videos for it. However, I am kind of running out of ideas on videos to do specifically for that. So if you do have any suggestions or things you want me to cover, let me know, because as I say, I am running out of ideas. I will be doing more general videos, such as covering what type of bits to be used, but obviously that's relevant to every machine, so it's not necessarily 3018 Pro. So yeah, any ideas, let me know, drop in the comments. Now let's start by talking a bit more about the 6060. So when I did the extension video, I built it to the exact specifications of the user manual. Now, one thing that I didn't particularly find useful is that the stepper motors were at the back of it, and in a scenario like mine when it's tucked away against a wall or up in a corner, it makes accessing those stepper motors really difficult to get to. So one of the modifications I've done is flip the axis around so the stepper motors are on the front. You can probably just see them through the perspex there. Now, I haven't done a video for this. The reason for it is pretty much a case of taking a few bolts out, spinning them round, putting the bolts back in. It was quite a simple thing to do, but if you've got any questions or you're unsure what to do, drop me a comment. I can always talk you through the process. I can always try and do a retrospective video talking through what I did, but as I say, it's fairly simple, so I don't think you'll probably need it. Now, let's talk a bit more about the enclosure. I know some of you have already asked for videos on these enclosures. Unfortunately, when I did them, I was under time constraints, so I don't have any video guidance on them. Again, I can probably do some sort of retrospective video and talk through how I built it, what materials I've used. But it is a fairly simple wooden frame, just out of 34mm, 1.5" plain timber. So it is quite easy to do. I can get you the measurements and things as well, and if there is enough interest, as I say, I may do a video. So if you want one doing for it, again, talk to me in the comments below. One of the things I've done with it is I wanted it to be fully accessible no matter what I'm doing. So whether that's to put materials in, to take the machine out, cleaning, maintenance, that type of thing. So we've got a big bifold door on it. to allow me to get full access to it. One thing you'll also see on the bed, I'm just jumping about here, there's no particular script for this video, got some aluminium extrusion. What I'm going to be doing is replacing the MDF board with this aluminium extrusion just to give it a bit more strength and, you know, just make it more durable going forward. Now, going back to the enclosure itself, with the bifold doors, what I also wanted to do, as I say, is be able to take the machine out if I needed to. So we've made the front part of this fully accessible and able to lift up. So that can come out, I can get full access to the machine, clean it, maintenance, as I say, everything. And with that, that's also basically the same design that we've got on the 4030. Now, as I say, this was the original enclosure for the 4040 was the original enclosure for the 4030. Essentially a bit of a prototype. But it means, again, I've got full access to this machine. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing going forward is I've got the laser for this Fox Alien 4040 XE, so we're going to be having a bit of fun with that, getting it installed, doing some tests. It's a fairly powerful laser. I think it's a 20 watt input, so you know, we should be able to do some pretty cool things with it. And because it's belt driven, it should mean we can have a bit more fun with the laser with some potentially higher speeds. Now let's talk a bit about future projects. So one of the reasons I obviously wanted the 6060 is to be able to do some larger scale projects, and that's one thing we're going to look at. I want to try and do some sort of big sign, almost maximising the capacity of that particular machine. We're also going to get around to installing the DeWalt router for this and just show you the correct way to wire it in to make things easy. Now, the reason I say that is because you can essentially just fix it in and plug it in. You have to keep manually turning it on and off all the time. Or there are some things we can do to make it, as I say, much easier, so that when we start the job, the spindle will fire up automatically, or the router will fire up automatically, even though, as I say, it is a separate plugin. So that's one thing we'll be looking at very shortly. I've also had quite a few people messaging me about missing steps on jobs. Now, I'll talk about this in that particular video, but we're going to cover various things such as the settings you need to go through, and also some of the things you need to do mechanically to get those machines right and avoid missing steps. As I briefly touched on, I think we're going to do a video on the best bits to use for certain types of jobs and materials. One long-term project I'm working towards is how to make money off your CNC machine. Now, although most of us buy these desktop CNC machines as a hobby, the ideal goal is to actually make some income off them to be able to fund, you know, extension kits, new machines, basically keep feeding our CNC addiction. So that's what we're going to be aiming for, is a series of items that we can make to sell on Etsy, eBay, Marketplace, who knows, wherever you can find your customers. Hopefully get there before Christmas, because obviously that is the ideal gift season. But yeah, it is a bit of a long-term project that I am working on. Now, I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. You really do keep this channel going, and I appreciate everything you contribute. If you want to get involved, check out the links below. I usually do try and give patrons early access to any videos I'm putting out there. So yeah, you do get a bit of premium content as part of your contributions towards the channel, and as I say, thank you very much. Now, I did say earlier on there was no real script to this video, and I probably have waffled on long enough, so we will wrap it up there. If you've got any ideas for future videos, chat with me down below. I do want to make the videos that help everybody out there, as I say, because that is, you know, it's what I enjoy, helping everybody out. But yeah, let's leave it there, and hopefully on the next video we'll have these machines in use and making projects that you enjoy. So I'll see you all on the next one.